Alright everyone, since we've created our HTML folder, then the next topic on our item is the HTML syntax, introduction to the HTML syntax. Now in this video we're exploring the basic syntax of HTML documents, starting with the very first line of HTML code. And the very first line of the code is the doctype HTML. Now the doctype HTML declaration tells the browser that this is an HTML document. It's a required element and should always be the first line of your code. What do I mean? In your VS Code, remember we opened your folder in your VS Code. Now you need to tell your VS Code that, hey VS Code, I want to write HTML code. That's the next thing you tell the VS Code. And for you to tell the VS Code, the first line of code should be your doctype HTML. Okay, for example, you're asking school to write about your school or to write an article about your school. The title will be my school. The same thing is applied there in coding. The first title has to be doctype HTML. Alright. Now before that, now you will notice these symbols here. Now I'll be working with new files. And in my new file I'm going to write index.html. It can be anything .html, but just remember that .html is very important. Now something's happened now. This guy changed. Let's go back. Let me cancel that .html. Now since I didn't complete my HTML, look at what is popping up. Now let me cancel this completely. Now look at it. This is showing that I want to write normal plain text, but I want to write code. I introduce my .html. Changes. Can we see that? Then we enter. We wait for it. Alright. Remember our first line of code, doctype HTML. Now less than, shift less than, an exclamation, doctype in capital letter, and HTML in small letter, then you close bracket. I have successfully tell this VS Code that I want to write code. Alright, let's look at the next thing on our list. The next item on our list is the HTML in the less than and greater than sign. The HTML element is the root element of the HTML document. It contains all the other elements and is essential for a valid HTML document. It is the root of every element. What this thing is saying is that every other element, every other tag, every other syntax is written inside the HTML element. Now what we are doing here is the HTML syntax. Okay, maybe I need to explain what the syntax is. Normally I said HTML is meant to add structure and content to plain text. Now HTML syntax defines those structure and content of that text. It defines it. That's what the HTML element does. Yes, HTML syntax, that's what it does. It defines those structure and content. Do we understand? So now in this our HTML, every other tags will be defined inside it. Alright, so that's after my declaration. I press the enter, then remember your less than first, HTML, then close it. Now notice something's happened. HTML was split into two. This first one is called the opening HTML and the other one is called the closing HTML. Alright, there are some tags or elements that have an opening of HTML and closing HTML. For instance, this doctype HTML does not have a closing HTML, but our HTML element has a closing HTML. Alright, so what will be written in my HTML? The next thing is the head. I will say the head element contains metadata about the document such as title, character encoding, and links to external style sheet. But in this class I will only be talking on the title. I want you to know what the title does. Alright, so in my tag title, This title is also a syntax. I call it a tag. They define the HTML. HTML is a structure, but this, when you're adding title, head, body, they are defining the HTML already. Alright, so in my title, let's even check what the title does. Now, okay, before the title, we have the head. Sorry, so it's meant to be the head, not title. It's meant to be the head. Alright, so less than head. So head is a closing tag. Then inside my head, I said title. Then we're going to see what the title does. It's also a closing tag. Now let's check what is the work of the title. So the title element sets the page title, sets the title of the page, which appears at the browser's title bar and search engine results. What do I mean by that? Now, so it means that anything I write here will be reflected in my browser title bar. Let's say we want to create TechDo website. TechDo website, and I save. After every line of code, remember to save. Then just come to the top here where your index.html is, right click, you see something like called copy path. You copy it. Once that's copied, so you paste it in your Chrome, and let's do that. Alright, so I'm on Chrome already. Yeah, I Control V, then it's there, just enter. Let's wait for it. Now done. Now look at this title bar here. Can you see the name? TechDo. Alright, let's go back to our VS Code. Let's change it to YouTube. Remember to save. Now let's go back there and refresh YouTube. So every website, this is the way they started. Facebook, anything, that is the way they all started. Alright, what's the next on the list? The next on the list is the body, and the body contains content of the HTML document. Remember, they define the content of the HTML document, such as text, image, and other media. So after the title, the next thing we are writing is the body. That's the body is not written in the head. The body is a separate entity. We have the head, the body. So enter. The body also has a closing tag. Body, it closes, and I said things like the headings, image, they are all written in the body. What you are seeing in a website, everything you are seeing, maybe it's Jumia you're plugging into, the way Jumia is looking like, everything is being done in the body. Alright, let's write an header in the body. Header such as, okay, let me just write plain header. TechDo. Alright, let's save that. Sorry, I don't want this video to be too long, so I will stop it here, then I will continue. Alright, that being said, okay, now let me Control S this and open our browser, then refresh. Let's see what happens. Let's wait for it. Okay, it's refreshing. What we are doing here doesn't need data. This is TechDo, what we just wrote, but it is not having a specific font. Please ignore this introduction to this guy. Ignore it, we don't need it. Alright, but let me put it in an header. Header, like I said, heading, and we have 6 different heading: H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6, with different sizes. The H1 is the largest. Let's write TechDo. Alt sheet. No. Okay, I think I can just change to Okay, to the third one, to the fourth, to the fifth, then to the sixth. All right, there are 6. All right, and I said with different size, and each one is the largest. Now let's go and check that out. Let's refresh. All right, look at it. H2, H3, H4, H5, H6. The H1 is the largest, followed by the H2, followed by the H3, the H4, the H5, and the H6. But since we are starting this web page, we're going to start with the H1, which is the first one. Can you see it's having an opening and closing tag? And I would like to write it in capital letter. TechDo. All right. So when we open that in our browser, let's see what we have. Let's refresh. Okay, let's change this title from YouTube to TechDo. Let's just say TechDo web page. Title, not YouTube now. TechDo web page. All right, let's save that. Control S. Then refresh here. Done. TechDo web page. So if you can do this, you're a step ahead. All right, now the next tag we're going to be looking at is the paragraph tag. The paragraph tag is the P tag. All right, less than P. It talks about the H1. That means we want to talk about TechDo in the paragraph. All right, let's say TechDo is okay, let me just write TechDo is a company that is based on innovation and technology. Now full stop. Let's save that and let's see what we are having with that. All right, boom, we've started creating a website already. That is the basic of any website. Is it YouTube? Is it Facebook? Is it Jumia? Is it Amazon? Is it Alibaba? This is the way their websites are being formed. This is the way they are being formed. So if you can do this already, trust me, you are a step ahead already. But in the course of this video, if there's any part that you don't understand, please feel free to reach out to me that, hello sir, I don't understand this part of the video, and I will, is either I do the video again or I explain again. Please do that, because you learning is my utmost priority in this group. All right, is there anything we need to look into again? Okay, I already said in the body we'll be talking on just the text. So we are still going to continue on HTML syntax in our next video, and the images and media, we will see how to import images. In the next video I will show you how to bring in images, how to add other medias to it. So watch out for the next video, and God bless you.